And now just Belgium standing in their way. So here are the teams. Russia led by Vladimir Ostrushko has already picked up 2 tries so far. Their captain Dmitry Perov is also there, as is Vladislav Lazarenko. The Belgians, well, they're looking for a bit of a turnaround in fortunes because they lost their opening 2 matches. And among their side, Bjorn van Zijl wearing 12 there, you can see at the bottom. So the teams are in the tunnel alongside me, Rob Vickerman. You must be impressed by Russia. We know they've always had a habit of producing good Olympic-style sportsmen, and they've certainly trawled long and far and wide, haven't they, to produce a 7 side who now qualifying for the World Series next season seem to be getting better with virtually every tournament.
They do, Martin, and they've got all the physical capabilities to be a phenomenal 7s team. And one thing they're really starting to build quite nicely is their rugby education. They're getting people that really understand the game, and you put those 2 together, the perfect setting of 7s. It's going to be formidable to see how Russia go in this game.
Yes, we saw in the first game Denis Simplikovic scored a hat-trick. That was in the win against Georgia. Ostrushko started the second game. He picked up a couple of tries. Both of them on from the first whistle here. But it will be Belgium who get us underway, playing from right to left, into the wind in this first 7 minutes.
Ready? Time on, up.
Talking about key figures who understand the game for Russia. Dmitry Perov there, the captain. He's the man who makes the calls and makes this Russia side tick. Perhaps some rather more sizable and impressive physical specimens further wide, but Perov, very much the brains of the Russian operation.
And one word that's often used in the world of 7s is the balance of the team, and you get people there looking at the set piece. But then you also need the men in the middle. Perov really is the heartbeat of this team, often aided by Lazarenko.
So you can see holding up. Belgian player trying to kick it off the ground. Look at that. That's an interesting image, isn't it?
No. You're going to relax. Okay. You can't lift the legs.
Why there's such a thing as a Russian deadlift.
Lifting the legs.
Lifting the legs. Penalty to the Russians. That was Filatov feeding the ball out to Ostrushko out wide. And romping through there. Simplikovic again. And that's try number 4 for the big fella. A hat-trick in the opening game. He scored one in just a little more than a minute here.
The Russians really started this game as a cancer, but you can't account for men that big being that quick, and you really do need to put 2 men on to try and stop him, because when he's in flow, so hard to stop. The combination there of the 2 key players, if it's not Ostrushko, it's Simplikovic striding through with these incredibly big quads, bouncing people out of the way.
Yes, the one thing they've always got right in Russia, and I know that this was a habit which started in the old Soviet era, was their ability to source talent and to find its proper home. There'll be many people involved in this 7s project who may have originally shone in other sports, but because there is that infrastructure in Russian sport which is almost unique to them, there are people here who may have been, I don't know, wrestlers or other Olympics-type sports who have become outstanding rugby players, and that's a great hanging restart. Competed for well, and there comes Van Zijl, a little fella, floating the pass out wide. Russia with the first try, looking to make it 3 wins out of 3. Belgium have been disappointing so far. There's Tom Coop. Both of the Coop brothers playing here. There's Emile Vermont, fumbling but going backwards. Bit of space here.
Backwards play on.
Just drifting across, you could see the defender, but Belgium still have it. There's the cross kick. It goes to hand. Now can he get away the offload? Well, the defence quite desperate. That's great work though from Perov, the captain. Here's Simplikovic again, but he's lost it in the contact, and there will be a scrum. And it'll be a Belgian ball.
And this is what Belgium really have to try and do in this game. They've got to make Russia the big men move around, get them going side to side, get them a bit of running in the legs, get quite tired. You see that when you get the likes of Simpilovic, who's just had to run 200 metres under pressure, the little things like being able to change the ball from hand to hand becomes a little bit harder, and you see errors.
Yes, there's been a Jekyll and Hyde quality about Belgium so far in the series. They picked up just 3 points in Moscow, 16 though in Lyon. Belgium beat Russia in Lyon. Pick up there from Gostyazev. Very physical over on the far side. A little grubber forward from Francel. Penalty though to the Russians. And there are some injury concerns. One of the Russians is down.
From the tackle area. Roll away. It's time off. Sorry, mate. That's fine, no problem.
There is Yuri Gostyazev, a veteran of 17 matches in the World Series.
And we speak of experience there, Martin. 17 events on the World Series is a formidable number. If you think about how many memories, how many times that he can put himself in an environment where he's tested, and he's going to test his skills and his knowledge base, and do that together as a team, then you're going to end up with a very, very good unit.
And they've qualified for the World Series next year, which is the perfect preparation going forward. They earned their place in the World Series by beating Zimbabwe in the qualifier in Hong Kong. So they're now one of those 15 core sides next year.
And it's going to be some ask, you know, we're talking 10 series events over 6 months, starting in December. Talk about them accruing that experience, it's going to come around very, very quickly. This time next year, they'll have a considerable number more events in their back pockets.
Cheers, man. Why not?
Belgium reached the final in Lyon in this competition a year ago when they were beaten by the host France. On that occasion they beat England, Wales and Scotland in the pools. Well, he's up, that's Vladislav Lazarenko. Good to see him on his feet, but he certainly won't be playing any further part today. We'll see if he's back tomorrow. That was Ostrushko offloading the ball through, goes Perov, the captain, neat little inside pass. To Koratov. Russia inside the 22. The missed move there, Simplikovic again. And that's his 5th try of the day. Maybe got a hand on his jersey.
All down to the wizardry there of Perov. Really is becoming quite an accomplished sevens player in the time that he spends on the ball. It looks effortless. Playing in the big men, using the people around him. Helps when you've got the likes of Lazarenko and Ostrushko and Simpilovic to pull on. But you know, there he's creating spaces, creating opportunities. What was a simple run around with a big man leads to Simpilovic starting it down for yet another try.
Yes, and in the sevens format, we tend to associate the fast men with being out on the flanks, but
10 seconds.
We know that so often the gaps do tend to appear in the middle, don't they? So the best teams will always have one of their really quick guys also in the middle of the park.
Yeah, and they're quick and they're also able to read space, Martin. So when you look at the likes of Russia's setup, they've got 2 very big physical people on the ends of the pitch. So when you're accounting for these guys out wide, that would then mean inside there's going to be lots of spaces. Again, for the guys fleet-footed who are quick to really exploit those spaces in the middle.
Yes, so we can see that Simplikovic out wide, but Ostrushko, who operates in 15s as a wing, appears to be playing rather more in the centre of the park here. Simplikovic palming it back. There's Ostrushko, didn't get a hand to it. Eventually The ball side-footed into touch by Emil Verbot. But we're going to come back to the knock-on. Yes, just looking at the Russian line up there. The playmaker Dmitry Perov is the scrum half, and you can see Ostrushko is standing in the centre with Simplikovic out wide. Two very big, powerful men. Russia just holding the ball up in the air, but the referee urging them to release. Belgium have it, little stab through. Ian Tempest had to, that's the referee, had to take evasive action.
Push the man.
Yeah, the endeavour was there from Belgium, realising that there is no sweeper for Russia. They're playing 7 people up in the front line, so there's a lot of space behind. Unfortunately, their Perov, as ever, reads the game impeccably well.
Let's go!
Here he is, Dmitry Perov. So that will be half-time.
On 0 and ball struck.
Well, you'd have to say at the moment, Russia barely out of second or third gear. 2 tries, they lead the Belgians by 10 points to 0.
Мужики, заметьте, когда есть обострение линий, движение игроков и собирает игроков, все, блин, в обратную сторону спокойно разыгрывать. Прошу вас, блин, и это так же и продолжать. Потом, сейчас, секунду, при чужом раке, при чужом мяче, мы закрываем линию, если 9-й входит в линию, у нас предпоследний игрок не отходит назад, они сразу играют ногой. Заметьте это, момент. Счет 10-0. Во-первых, в защите мы должны закрывать центр обязательно. Попытки прорыва все только в краях. Это раз. Потом в атаке просто надо контролировать мяч. Идти. Все должны знать, кто идет. И делать драйв. Понятно? Говорите, кто мяч принимает, что ему делать.
В атаке надо сохранять, и мы будем легко класть по блоку.
Давай, блядь, им еще надо с ним принять.
Well, the Russians at the moment third in the overall standings, 6 points behind Spain, who are in second, and 2 points ahead of England. England are up in the final game here when they take on Spain. So, Russia taking huge strides in the sevens format.
Also interesting there to see that the Russian players really lead the team talk at half-time there. Again, suggesting that their understanding of the game is really developing.
Ready? Time on, please.
So let's see the restart here from Dmitry Perov into the wind. So be looking for plenty of height. Well, it was something and nothing kick, that one. Giving an opportunity here for Belgium to try and create something. That was Jens Torfs. Torfs, who's spent quite a period at the Perpignan club down in Catalan country, but the ball has gone forward, so immediately handing possession back to the Russians.
Yeah, they're interested in the long kick-off tactic. The main reason for kicking long is to really try and pressurise the attack. If you know that they don't have an ability to get out, then you're quite happy to put it down in the 22 and know that you've got 7 players coming forward and they've only got 2 players to have the ball.
Thank you.
So there it is for Perov. The decoy run being run by Filatov. On goes Ostrushko. Out to Simplikovic, but that went forward.
Everything the Russians doing involving either Perov, Ostrushko or Simplikovic, their 3 people really are crucial to this team.
Yes, the basketball style pass.
Crouch.
Floating forward.
Bind. Set.
There is Vladimir Ostrushko. First saw him playing rugby in the Churchill Cup 4 or 5 years ago when it was hosted by England.
12, not driving square.
A lot of these sevens players in Russia double up in the 15 side. Russian defence here, just pinning Belgium back in their 22, forcing them to take one or two risks, and they force the error.
Really intelligent defence from Russia. All they're doing, letting Belgium go side to side. No one's taking the ball forward. They know quite well that they can cover each man individually. Whilst it accrues a bit of running across the middle of the pitch, it really does put the pressure on the Belgian team to either try and make a break, or in this case, put pressure on their skills.
And it's just a gentle press, isn't it? All moving up as a defensive line, just edging and forcing Belgium into panicking and eventually making the mistake. And all of a sudden, there you are, you've got a 5-metre scrum.
It's out the tunnel, okay? We're going to reset that, okay?
So the referee calling to reset it.
I do possibly wonder if the Russian backs might well be better in the forwards for these types of scrums.
Crouch! Bind!
So let's look at the options here for Dmitry Perov. Free kick. Perov will take it quickly. There he goes. He's got numbers out wide. The long pass. And in the corner was Yuri Goshchezev.
The end result of really pressurised defence from Russia there. Questioning the skill set, getting the turnover, and once again, Perov dictating play, using one of the many physical tools at his disposal.
The Russians reached the final at the home tournament in Moscow, beaten by France, and well, in terms of the range of skills on display here from Dmitry Perov, that and nothing, right out the middle.
10-1, make sure.
17 points to nil, last 3 minutes of this match. Russia on their way to making it 3 out of 3. They will get a favourable draw tomorrow. Look at the hang time on that, using the wind. Jens Torst was under pressure, but Belgium have it.
No advantage, knock on first. Knock on.
We'll see how high the restart goes. Almost 2 or 3 second hang time. And this is where it gets a bit debated. Should he try and catch that rather than bat it and bring in the Belgian players? Perhaps so. Now we see here, ball situation, gets his knee on the floor, therefore becomes a tackle players have to release. Really clever referee in there.
Time on, Bob, please. Step up. Crouch!
So the clock ticks down, 2 minutes 20 remaining.
Bind!
Russia now safely on their way to victory.
Bind on the bind. Thank you.
Just looking at things in Pool C.
Bind!
Russia will go to 9 points after this. Georgia at the moment in second place, and they're up against Wales. So both of those sides, in fact Georgia and Wales, in with a chance of progressing. The winner of that match will finish second in the pool, but there's also a spot for a third place team as well. Here goes Ostrushko. So now Cookie is on his feet as well. Simplikovic waited for it, gathered it, and that tackle looks a little bit high, but the referee in Tempest has let it go.
Excuse me.
Well, the referee has heard something which he didn't like. Like many referees, his instinct was to go to his pocket first before thinking better of it.
10 metres. Yeah, they've gone back.
Just the word and the stare did the job there from the referee. Palm back a bit untidily. Russia pick it up. That was Filatov. Crashing their way through, they get another score.
We will be restarting, Bob.
So Russia winning this, going away, and it was Herman Davidov getting his first try of the weekend.
11's on his way, 25.
Hugely impressive display from Russia here. dominating restarts, dominating possession, playing really intelligently, and as a result, completely suppressing anything that Belgium tried to hit them in attack.
So the score now on 22. Just the last 5 seconds. So we will have the restart. 1 or 2 alterations have been made. So Remmel Gayson there with the restart. Belgium a chance perhaps to launch something. Belgium have scored just 15 points so far today. They really have underperformed. This is Van Sale. And that was a late tackle coming in from Davidov, the most recent try scorer for Russia.
Late tackle.
Assistant referee on this side, Andrew Small. Andrew Small, the man from Ashburton on the South Island of New Zealand, but now living in rather less salubrious surroundings. He's in Milton Keynes. That was from Brewers. So a chance here, one final act of defiance perhaps from the Belgians. That was neat work. Up to the Russia 22. Van Sale wants it on this wing. Oh, and he stepped in, he was expecting the short pass. Tom Coop and here it is for Hendrik Brouwers. He's held up. Did he get that down?
Knocked on, no try.
I'm not sure he did. Edward Filatov with the intervention. No try, knock on. The referee blows his whistle.